it would be really useful to round off the session with a perspective from the Exchange Lab on what clients can do as part of a programmatic partnership to get the most out of their partner and what they should be looking for in a programmatic partner. So for us, trust and transparency that Fabrizio touched on is a given. I don't believe that you can get the most out of any business relationship, or any relationship for that matter, without those two as a given. But I'm only here to talk about the business relationship. Very soon into the partnership, Fabrizio and his team made it clear that they did trust us. And it was really exciting to move the discussions away from a focus on a KPI, which often is just a proxy for the success that you really want to see, and move the conversations onto a business discussion about business needs. As I'm sure we've experienced, KPIs can sometimes give you more of the stuff that you don't need, or more of the stuff that's not necessarily the most valuable thing to your business. So as soon as we can move those discussions into a wider business discussion, we were able to really get going and really start delivering against those business needs. And that refers to that first point, really. It works best for us when we're treated as a business partner, not just a technology provider. And that's because we're fully aware, Chris touched on it in his opening speech, that the technology is really just a facilitator. Let's not get hung up on the features of the technology. Proteus is a great piece of tech, but the exciting bit is what business results that delivers for our clients. So the sooner we can move on from seeing it as a piece of tech and be invited to be an extension of your business. And that became really clear with IHG, and that was one of the things that made it a really sustainable relationship for us. So I would say that the key thing that you need to look for as a client is a business partner driven by technology. So business relevant solutions driven by technology, rather than a tech provider, as it were. This transparency that the team sort of allowed us, this culture of transparency that we sort of mutually created, meant that we felt sort of the encouragement and permission to say it like it is, rather than feel under any pressure to say what we thought you might want to hear. And that meant that that we could have very open discussions. If there were any points along the campaign where things weren't going as we planned, we would bring it up, we would discuss it. And that was only possible if there's no disconnect in your goals. So if you have common goals and you're working closely together, that kind of collaboration is possible. I think also sticking on the theme of sort of openness and sharing and working as business partners, the more information that you can give us on what the real motivations are behind what you're doing, what is the reason those budgets exist in the first place? What is the business need that has been agreed upon and those budgets have been released? The more you can share, the more detail you can share about your strategy behind that, the better we can be at creating bespoke strategies and campaigns. So this was a really good example. We had, I think, 12 different campaigns in 9 different countries. So we had to develop a sort of a central core strategy that was supported by bespoke strategies for each of those markets. And we could only do that by exchanging a lot of information. That also helped us brainstorm and work towards metrics that made more sense to the business. We weren't sort of held at bay and told, perform or else. It was a very sort of collaborative approach. IHG were very hungry for knowledge, and this was really exciting for us, and this opened up lots of possibilities. They always wanted the detail behind the bigger picture. So we had long weekly calls going through everything, and you always gauge a client. Is this too much? Is this enough? And it was always more is more. Certainly at the beginning, when we were at sort of they were at the sort of steeper end of their learning curve. It meant that we could very quickly move on from the basics and have more sort of informed, more clever conversations. Fabrizio and his team were really keen to meet with Mark, our head of BI, so that they could talk about their data. They were really keen to get very close to the trader. Charlotte, our head trader, was invited to all the key meetings. She was given her time to talk, and there was a lot of focus and attention on her thinking and her trading strategies, which was great. One of Fabrizio's team members even came into our office and did some real live lever pulling and button pressing on their campaign while it was live, which was really great. I think really those, not to labour the point, but those for us were the two things that enabled us to do what we do to the best of our abilities. And, I believe we've sort of formed the basis of a strong, sustainable and scalable partnership. I'm not running the Q&A session, so...
Thank you both. We are slightly over time, so I'm conscious of that. But are there any questions on the floor for Fabrizio? Because he is here, having gone through that experience. Does anybody have any burning questions? Okay. Well, that remains me, therefore, to sort of, on your behalf, thank all the speakers and all the effort they've put in. I hope you found the session useful, with some sort of concrete takeaways around some of the things that you should be thinking about as you move forward. We will be here for a few minutes yet if you want to have some conversations with us or any of the speakers. But for now, will you just join me in a round of applause for all the effort put in by the speakers? Thank you very much. And it just remains for me to thank you all for taking the time out and attending the session. We hope you found it useful. Give us your feedback. We're always looking to improve these things, and we're always looking to try and bring the information to you in the best way that you can absorb it and make it actionable in your business. So thank you very much for taking the time out this morning.